Sure did. I seen my two best friends get shot down on the very same day. Right on the village green it was, too. And when they didn't come home for supper, their mamas ran down the hill looking for them. Ms. Lowell, she found Timothy right off. But Miss Pickett, she looked near half the night for Willem. 'Cause he went and crawled off the green before he died. Mama, hey mama, come looking for me. I'm here in the meadow by the red maple tree. Mama, hey mama, look sharp, here I be. Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. Them soldiers, they fired, oh ma, did we run? But then we turned around and the battle begun. Then I went under, oh ma, am I done? Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. My eyes are wide open, my face to the sky. Is that you I'm hearing in the tall grass nearby? Mama, come find me before I do die. Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. I'll close your eyes, my Billy, them eyes that cannot see, and I'll bury you, my Billy, beneath the maple tree. And never again will you whisper to me, hey, hey, oh mama, look sharp.
One, two, three. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Writings, Chats, and Friends. If this is your first time being here, my name is Monica Brinkman, and along with my wonderful co-host, Kenneth Ween.
Hi, folks.
Hi, Ken. We're going to bring you a show today that is on a topic that I think most people are concerned about, and that is war. Now, Ken, I understand that you selected a writing that goes along with this.
And it is a sonnet. I don't write a lot of formal verse, but this is a sonnet about actually a very historical figure. Have you ever been to Paris, to the Louvre? There is a beautiful statue on display. It is headless. It is a Nike. A Nike is a goddess of war, and it was found in the Greek territory known as Samothrace, So this is for Nike of Samothrace. Nike, goddess of victory, look with sorrow on this crimson ground. Fold the dead gently within your fierce, black, hovering wings. Allow that sour smell, death's pungent reek, to rise and vultures bring. Bending to the earth, goddess, receive the mourner's keening sounds. Triumphant armies salute with drums and horns victory's ample breast, wherein she succors warriors' tears, whilst they might raise voice to sing of comrades they have lost, those gone for whom the death knell rings. Sweet goddess, at battle's end, offer weary warriors deserved rest, and succored with your silken skirts, may gaping wounds be bound. Now, returned from battle, victory's warriors should feel blessed. But when the fighting reaches end, the ships of war return to home. You lead the way as once with warlike call you bade these soldiers roam. Goblin of martial anger, in battle you have lost your head, and they, poor souls, for your so meager conquest cause, have bled.
Wow, says a lot.
So you might guess from that I'm not particularly pro-war. You know, I'm old enough that I could have been drafted. I was not, partly because I was in grad school and then partly for medical reasons. I was not drafted to go to Vietnam. I don't know what I would have done. You know, I've always held Muhammad Ali in high esteem because, you know, he refused to go. One of my college roommates was a conscientious objector, and he served in other ways. I would have been a conscientious objector, but I could not make a case that I had been involved in a religious movement or something for long enough, whereas Winslow had for years been. I mean, I did at that time attend Quaker meetings, but it was kind of recent. Anyway, I didn't go into the military. I was teaching during the war for part of it, and I did sign at least one and help pay for at least one New York Times ad, and I did stand on some corners with placards. And then I went back to grad school to get my doctorate, and I was there during that very tumultuous 1979 fall, when schools all over the country were refusing to hold classes and things, and just a general strike.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand Vietnam and what happened there, you know, and it's a little bit similar to what's happening now, not exactly the same.
Are you talking about the end or the beginning?
Oh, the beginning
of Vietnam. We actually, you and I have a friend who's been on the show many years ago, and we've tried to get him to come back, a fellow known as Bertie Mac, who was one of John Kennedy's good friends.
Yes.
And Kennedy sent him to Vietnam. And this is in his second book. Mm-hmm. And basically, Bertie came back and said to John Kennedy, yeah, this is foolhardy. The people there don't want us. Ho Chi Minh had been an American ally, a very good ally.
Mm-hmm.
Against
yes.
the East.
And people don't know that.
Yeah, and the problem was that the country was divided really between a goodly number, but a minority of Catholics who held power in Saigon, and then I'm forgetting which cat, and then Ho was basically more a nationalist leader, and he was up in Hanoi. And really the the fight there, and once the French won, and basically we got in there because Eisenhower, with the backing, with the encouragement of Dulles, pushed the French to get back and to fight there. And then after the French were defeated, which should have told us something.
Yeah. You think we would...
He said, okay, we're going to support this Catholic. Eisenhower said, we're going to support this Catholic regime. And Bertie had gone out and said, but the country's not Catholic and they don't want this regime, and the regime is corrupt and the people are some. And then, of course, Kennedy was killed, and Johnson got this bizarre notion in his head that he had to win this war. And that's how we got in. And then many, many years later, having laid waste to a lot of the country, having killed a lot of people, having poisoned a lot of people on our side, and we left, having accomplished nothing. And the damn thing is, of course, now, not so many years later, they're not a staunch ally, but they're a partner, they're a trading partner. They're a reliable country. They're a country that abides by, and all that damage that was done by us in our opposition to communism is, so, it really, the Vietnam was a horrific part of American history. And then we go to an equally absurd situation.
This is crazy. I know.
And the bizarre thing about the war in Afghanistan is that this is a war that has been fought a number of times. The British have fought it now. Well, this will be the fourth time for the Brits.
Yeah, they did 3 before. The Russians?
And the Russians, yeah. And everybody, this is a little different, and this is the big difference. It has to do with who lives where. If you actually look at the population of Afghanistan, the majority, and a goodly majority, are Pashtun.
Yes.
Pashtun are Sunni Muslim, and they speak Pashto, their language. The rest of Afghanistan is primarily Persian speaking. And they are, a large number of them are another tribe, I believe it's pronounced Harar, and many of them are Shia. And more to the point, they have been dominated, they and the Tajiks who live there, who are also Persian speaking basically, have been dominated by the Pashtun for as long as it's been in Afghanistan. Now, there hasn't always been in Afghanistan because the Pashtun at one time were a major power. In fact, their reach extended all the way into India. And they have been a very warlike and militaristic culture.
Yeah.
They are absolutely horrific to women from our point of view. They are, now that they are Muslim, they are absolutely fanatical and conservatism, again, according to our point of view. But they are an ongoing living culture. Many Pashtun live in Pakistan because historically their territory was, if you shifted a little bit to the east, it would make more sense, because on the far west end of Afghanistan, which was basically created by the Brits and the Russians, if you go back to before that, you have the Harar and the Tajiks and those people there on the edge, and then going over the other way, over toward the more to the east into what's now Pakistan. You had the Pashtun. Now, the Brits, when they were dividing things up, and particularly when they were creating Pakistan as a haven for Muslims who didn't want to stay in India, they, created these boundaries. So the natural thing for the Pashtun is to want a national state We should have been encouraging that. That's where we went wrong. We are so preoccupied in Washington, historically, not now so much, but historically, with communism, that we never understood that this was a situation right out of Woodrow Wilson's playbook at the end of the First World War. This was a natural state. It was a state of like-speaking, like-cultured, like-believing people who should have had self-determination. When we went in against the Russians, which was not a terrible thing to do, we just wasn't a very helpful thing to do. Instead of supporting Pashtun liberation in a separate Pashtun state, we decided to get into this driving the Russians out of Afghanistan, which set up for the Pashtun orthodoxy of the Taliban to now take over the whole country and make things even worse for the Harar and the Tajiks and everybody else. So then we go in there, and one of the things you have to understand is, yeah, Osama bin Laden had been there, and yeah, he had operated out of that base in setting up 9/11. And yeah, the Taliban government in Afghanistan would not give him to us. But what we did then after that was absurd. Instead of going in to get him and kill him, which we certainly could have done, or not, we would have driven him in, into hiding someplace. But instead of doing that, we went in and we waited around for basically exactly what the Brits had done so many times, 3 times before, which was waiting for a Harar leader who actually he ended up being killed, but we were waiting for this minority leader to take over. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got embroiled. Now, I saw today that we have spent since 2011, since 9/11, we have spent $8 trillion in wars, primarily in Iraq, Afghanistan. What have we gotten? Not much. In Syria, we made a muddle. The only place that we could even remotely claim, and I guess it's part of the 8 trillion, some success is Libya, where we only did it because Gaddafi wanted to stop selling oil in dollars and start using.
There you go.
And, we've spent $8 trillion. Now, to me, the real issue of war is what happens at home, okay? And you look at what's happening at home, and are we happy? I mean, do Americans get the best health care in the world? No. They pay the most, but they don't get the best. Do they get the best educations in the world? No. They pay for a lot, but they don't get a lot of great education. Do we have the best roads and railroads and things? No. China certainly has outdistanced us. Do we have the best relationships with other countries? No. China is outperforming us all over. The other day I was looking at a map of the world and where Chinese investments were versus American. They're outperforming us all over the world. Just today I was looking at how much better off they are with Republic of Congo. Well, Republic of Congo has all these rare earths and things that we need. Instead, what we are doing is, because we have become a war state, is we're selling and giving away military equipment. And that in turn has skewed our economy. So instead of giving our people healthcare, education, good housing, good transportation, and fun, enjoyment, culture, instead of doing all those things, we're building weapons, using them up in senseless ways, getting rid of, so we can keep building more. By the way, that brings up something else I have to mention. Supposedly, the Taliban took over huge amounts of American weaponry, and they were parading some in Kandahar. I was watching on one of the Chinese links that I use to watch world events. I was watching some of the events in Kandahar. And yeah, and I don't know that it's as huge an amount as some people want to say. I know there are some Black Hawk helicopters, which are very valuable. And but, one of the things that the people who are upset about this don't understand is that the people who build weapons are delighted. My gosh, you guys lost all these Black Hawk helicopters. Well, we have to replace them, but we can't replace them with the same thing because now our adversaries will know how to deal with those. So we're going, instead of Black Hawks, we're going to go with White Owls. And we go up to the next, and we keep paying more and more and more to create these. Oh, by the way, just so you know, one of the myths that's been going around is that, well, we don't have to worry about those Black Hawks because they only have one crew that can fly one and one crew that can maintain one. So if they have 80 of them, say, they're only going to be that's bull.
Oh, yeah.
And again, all of those members of the Afghan army who defected, you don't think any of them were out of the helicopter? You don't think that the organizers from the Taliban who were organizing the Pashtun people in this rebellion weren't smart enough to say, okay, hey, Johnny, go learn to fly. Go learn to fly.
I know it.
You learn how to fix it. You work it out so you guys are on the same crew. So already they have a couple of them up and flying, and it's not going to be better. But that's okay because you see, we now have somebody in this country saying, okay, now we need a Black Hawk helicopter killer.
Yeah, I see. It's crazy though. It's hard for me right now because Americans, from what I understood for decades now, have been asking that we get out of this war.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're tired of troops being killed. They're tired of fighting something that you just can't win. So now we do it. And people are just upset as could be because people were left behind. Now, I don't know of any war that we have lost and exited that people haven't been left behind.
I think it was messy. I think it was messy in part because we did not realize how pervasive the Pashtun identity was. I mean, I realized, I know you read my Facebook.
Oh yeah, you kept telling everybody about this, and
but
everybody's like, oh, they argue with you.
The U.S. government, okay, I have to go total digression here. Can you lie to God? Can you lie in the name of God? Can you put your hand on a Bible and swear to tell the truth, so help you God, and have it be a lie if you are a truly believing person? And the answer is yes. Okay? If in doing so, you are serving God. Now, we even have a major religion in this country that teaches you it's all right to lie in the service of God. That's the Mormon faith, Latter-day Saints. That's I agree. But it has always been, I'm from a Jewish background. Maimonides said, he was Spanish, Spanish Inquisition. Is it all right to lie and say you're converting to Christianity, to Catholicism? And the answer is, of course it is, because you have to stay alive in order to praise God. Okay, so now we have the Taliban, and he got this young Pashtun guy, and I swear by Allah that I am going to, you know, of course it's all right with his religious view to lie. Yes, that oath meant nothing. And for some bizarre reason, people in this country didn't understand that 3/4 of those people or more who were swearing allegiance to the government in Kabul had no intention of fighting for that government.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah.
Way too long did we stay there. You know, our intention was to get Osama bin Laden. We did.
Not there.
No, not there.
Yeah.
No, because he was hiding.
Yeah, well, nothing to do with being there, actually. I mean, he was probably out way before that. I knew how to get Osama bin Laden. I mean, everybody who thought about it. I mean, have you read my book, Times to
Oh,
Try
oh yeah.
Well,
It's
the
great.
answer is in
I
there.
recommend it to everyone.
Thank you. The answer is in there. I mean, it's a novel, but the answer is in there. You go
Yes.
after his children. Yeah, you know,
Ken, that's what mafia does.
yeah, well, but it's not just mafia. In that case, we know. I mean, you know, one of the facts in the book, you know, it's based on some fact. One of the facts is his daughter was actually setting up the events in New York. She lived in, and she was being traced by a Messiah. And folks, that's all I know. If you've read the book and probably going, huh, that's all fiction. No, that all happened.
Yeah.
The side
You
agent is
can base this on
a real
true
guy.
events.
Okay. Well, anyway, you go after bin Laden's children. Okay. Now we don't fight wars in this country. We don't fight wars the way wars are being fought now. We still, you know, we're waiting for the redcoats to march up Bunker Hill. By the way, it wasn't Bunker, it was Breed's Hill, but that's a whole other story. And we wait, and somebody says, wait till you see the whites of their eyes, which never happened.
Never happened.
Anyway, and then we aim for where the white, which did happen. The British had this wonderful uniform. So you just aimed at the cross and you killed.
Crazy, huh? They
yeah.
didn't think that one through.
But you didn't kill innocents. You didn't kill white. You didn't bomb. You know, when the First World War, when Belgium was bombed, and the Russians bombed the civilians. Right. The world was so outraged. Hey, you know, we make believe we don't do these things, but we do them. I mean, Agent Orange is proof we do. All of the landmines that we have scattered around the world, proof we do. We're just as bad. You know, evil is in your heart. All humans are evil. But, you know, a lot of these things we won't do. Well, hell, you know, I mean, I know that the other day, in I guess it was in Kabul, they went after what they thought was a load of bombs or explosives going to the airport. And they killed a bunch of civilians, and you know, the press tried to make it something. The press is very good at making things. I think they tried to get into something, and I was saying to myself, good. I'm sorry. I mean, if they truly were innocents, I am sorry for them. But you know, you go after the explosives. You don't go after, you know, preventing casualties. The rest of the world doesn't go after preventing casualties. Reality is that, you know, if you look at what's going on, say, in Israel, how do people fight wars? Well, the Palestinians, with very good reason, are very angry, and they want, you know, to fight back. They're using mortars. They just land where they land. They had been for a long time trying to drop explosives off in restaurants and things like that. And the Israelis are certainly no better. You know, they just keep bombing away in civilian housing. They give them some, and they say, well, it's because the enemy is hiding there. Of course, the enemy is hiding there. But by that token, every house in Israel because everybody's a soldier. Everybody under a certain age is still in the military.
Yeah,
So I would say that every house there is there,
exactly.
you know, and the rest of the world fights like that. The rest of the world, it's dirty. It really is. And we try to make believe we're not. And in the process of being not, we just do things badly. So, what should we do next? Monica, what do you think?
I think we need to deal with our own terrorists within our country, that war.
Okay. I certainly think that we have some terrorists in this country. And okay. I certainly.
It's growing. Lying's growing. Outrageousness is growing. Unacceptability is growing. Or I should say acceptability.
So you'd like to draw our attention back inward and stop being so involved in the rest of the world and getting caught up in battles of the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm sick of, I guess what I'm trying to say, hey, Americans, okay, let's say China comes over here and they could, and they've decided that none of us should be able to choose a religion. That they have decided what religion we're all gonna follow, what our lives are going to be like, what the rules are going to be, what our freedoms, if any, shall be. How would we react? Countries coming over here saying, okay, you're going to be like our government, or we're going to change you into one that's close to it. How would we react?
You're saying we should stop trying to tell other people how to live and focus more on how we live.
Yeah, and we need to communicate with these other countries.
Okay.
I have said this before. If we spent the time, every country, on trying to bring peace within the world instead of war, we could have it. So what is it that's so important that everybody wants to be a superpower? Everybody wants to control what is right and wrong. Everybody wants to tell other countries how they should live and what they should do and how people should act.
Where is this everybody? I'm a little lost. Do you think that China wants to control other countries?
I don't know that China would even need to.
Do you think that Russia is involved in trying to control?
Yes.
What other countries?
Well, Ukraine, for one.
To some degree, but only after Ukraine started becoming anti-Russian.
Right. Was there right? Okay, they're not part of Russia anymore.
Well, but I think that if you look at it, if you really look at it, I think that most countries have given up the idea of telling other countries how to live. The exceptions seem to be the United States, Britain, and France. I
know, and that mindset needs to change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there really is this need to stop trying to tell other countries how to live. But I think that we've missed the boat on some things. A few things. One of the things we certainly have missed the boat on is that we think that we are this Judeo-Christian country. And the Judeo part is in kind of little parentheses.
Yeah.
With that, and that this is the right faith. And I think one of the things is that we don't do a lot to understand other people's beliefs.
Well, I spent a long time doing that, Ken. Yeah. I know you have too.
Yeah, but I think as a country, we don't spend enough time.
No.
And we don't spend enough time trying to interact with their faith.
And we need to be reaching hands out in love and friendship.
Well, I think we need to be subsidizing, I think particularly Islam, but I think we need to be subsidizing schools that study religion, that approach religion. One of the great errors of the American diplomacy was supporting the Shah of Iran in throwing out the Ayatollah Khomeini. Khomeini then went and lived in Paris. But we never tried to reach out to him. We never supported him. We never helped him to see us as somehow positive toward his faith. Now, years later, we pay the price for that.
Yes.
All over sub-Saharan Africa right now, Islam is on the move.
It is, yes.
Yeah. And yet, we do not have a dialogue with Islam at all.
And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm. We don't.
You can't be a big bully and force other countries to be you.
I agree.
Helping them is one thing. Being humanitarian is one thing. But trying to control everything, we don't have that, right?
I think it's entering into dialogue with them that is really important.
Oh, I wish we would.
We don't dialogue with them. And, that means looking for the common ground, the common faith, the common meaning.
And it would be so easy to do that.
Easy or difficult, it's important.
It is.
The other thing is that we have to stop telling people guns are important. We're the ones, we more than anyone else, are the ones who are telling the rest of the world that having guns is important.
Yeah.
Other major sources are some of our best friends and allies, the French, the Czechs. We are creating a worldwide gun culture. And that cannot do good for anyone.
Of course not. Of course not. You know what, Kendall? I think we're running out of time, and I hope we can talk more about this. And I also hope maybe a guest will come on.
Well, I hope guests will come on. I fear that a lot of people don't want to go on record.
Yeah. But and that's okay. I understand that also.
Listen to this and you found some of it meaningful, insightful. Wanted, please, we'd love to have you come on. You don't have to agree with us.
No.
But Chris, Monica and I don't agree particularly on everything.
No, a lot of times we don't. And that's a good thing, because we would be communists if we all agreed on everything.
Oh, we'd be fascists. Oh, we'd be something.
We'd be something other than what we are. And Ken, the book that you were just talking about, I want everybody to read that. So in a moment, folks, we're going to show you a little trailer for that. And take a look at it and buy the book. And
have a great rest of your day, folks. And thank you for joining us on Writings, Chats, and Friends.
Bye-bye, folks. There you go.